Anyway.
As for me, I've finally, after all these years and after all the recommendations, gotten into Avatar: The Last Airbender, an anime hybrid Western-style cartoon that aired on Nick from 2005 to 2008, centering around the defeat of an evil empire, because that story has obviously not been done before. Thus far, it is summarily proving alongside My Little Pony that children's shows can be awesome.
Right. I do admit I really like that show, especially because it also has martial arts with elemental powers, and I don't know if I've mentioned this enough, but I'm a martial arts nerd.
Yeah, I'm not even a martial arts nerd, and that's friggin' awesome.
And thus it only gets better with the later arc, so you've got a lot to enjoy later on. So.
Yeah, since I'm only on episode, 8 or 9? But, but I will say this in its defense as well. It has possibly the first ever anime/western cartoon style young male protagonist whose voice I don't want to murder. Take notes, Naruto and One Piece. Aang's voice does not actually penetrate my ears with a clothespin. Also, you can also take notes from Zuko on how to be an anti-hero.
There is also the sequel series to it out now, The Legend of Korra, which unfortunately, I say through gritted teeth and irritation, is not out on Netflix, and it's only on a very specific satellite channel over in England, one I don't have, so...
Well, the good news is I have not even started watching that yet, so I cannot spoil it.
Anyway, better move on for the last few reviews.
First off, because it's obligatory, manga. Naruto, again, getting alright. It's just been taking a while to move past certain points, and Madara is still a godmodding bastard. Bleach, Fairy Tail, stop teasing me, you bastard.
Of course Fairy Tail's teasing you, but based on One Piece, where the females are only used to tease people.
No, it's not fanservice, it's just that... Okay, the only reason I've been sticking with Fairy Tail, even with all the bad decisions that have been going on in the past month, is because throughout this entire arc, they've been teasing the fact that there's going to be this great apocalyptic event that's happening, and the few flashes we've seen it in, like, this vision, and then we think, okay, I want to stick with it just to see how the hell that situation comes up and how they get out of it. And in the whole stupid god modding session I may have mentioned in the last broadcast, there's this line which says, "It all began to change on the third day of the Magic Tournament." And the latest chapter, and the reason why I say it's been teasing me, is this only goes, it was all 4 days before the appointed day. And I thought, oh, for feck's sake.
Oh, wow. I can understand your frustration, man. In fact, that's basically story nerd fan service right there. They tease something that you want, but apparently you can't have it.
Yeah, pretty much. Especially since this is 4 days in the manga time. And every single day, everyone has to fight at least once, and there's always one silly game that occurs in the middle of it. That means it could always be several months before this bloody thing actually comes to anything.
And you have to just sit and hope you don't collapse of boredom at your desk by then.
Nah, the only reason I'd collapse of Fairy Tail is because I banged my head against the desk. Collapsing with boredom, that would be Bleach.
So yeah, Naruto is as inconsistent and eclectic as ever. Bleach is Bleach, and Fairy Tail is story cleavage.
Pretty much, yes. But to end it on a positive note, I'm just going to end this with an amendment to one review I gave a while back.
Okay, as of a few weeks ago, the last episode of Bodacious Space Pirates aired. Yes, I just said Bodacious Space Pirates. Let's get past the jokes and move on. Overall, I'd say it was a pretty good series. The main weakness of it was around the middle, the arcs became much shorter, resolving themselves in 1 or 2 episodes, and then being filled with fun but pointless filler episodes. And then it started to pick up in the last 5 episodes when a big plot occurred and characters were actually put into dangerous situations. But overall, a pretty good show that had surprisingly little fan service apart from one random lesbian kiss that happened.
And just to amend something that I said in response to one of your reviews of the show, bodacious does not necessarily mean stonking great tits. It can mean daring. So the title is not as shameful as I thought.
Well, that's one load off my back, I guess.
Yeah, at least you can say you're into it without feeling shame, unlike me and My Little Pony.
Aw. Well, it's fair enough. At least several more people on the internet know more about My Little Pony than they do about Space Pirates, so...
But either way, I think I might eventually one day check out Bodacious Space Pirates.
Yeah, that's a
title that leads to so many sentences I never thought I'd say.
But that's all the quick round reviews we have for this month, so it's now time to move on to our final segment,
News Spotlight.
It's time for us to take a look at the media-related news stories that have caught our eye over the past month and give our own opinions on the matter. And we start things off with a load of movie news. Well, specifically anime movie news. First off, in one thing that would make me happy if no one else, Bodacious Space Pirates is getting a movie. Yay!
Well, it'll be good news to me if I ever get into the series, which I seem want to do, what with the shows I'm getting into lately.
And the second is a rather interesting case that will actually probably be out by the time this goes out. It is a special movie of a series that me and Sven have talked about a lot, but while there have been many movies for it before, this is the first one that actually appeals to us. It is called Naruto Road to Ninja.
Or as I like to call it, Naruto character reversement personified.
Yeah, I should probably explain it. The plot is admittedly kind of the feeble excuse plot, but anyway, the plot is that not Madara, or whatever you're going to call him now, traps both Naruto and Sakura inside a genjutsu which sends them to a parallel universe where, as Sven and hinted to, everyone behaves in incredibly different ways. For example, Sasuke becomes infinitely more entertaining.
Yes, he becomes sane from Fire Emblem 7, for starters. And to add on to that, he's likable. I'm not in the hand of a different writer. Ooh.
Yeah. Sven isn't kidding either. One of the first shots of Sasuke in the animated trailer is him on Sakura's balcony handing him a rose.
Which is just whole hosts of amusing I can't even explain.
Yeah. Considering how awful that relationship went.
Yeah. I guess this proves it. Sasuke is just fine in the hands of anyone but his authoring writer. That says a lot.
Yeah, although that said, Kishimoto is kind of involved in the movie. He's made the boast that every time Naruto appears in a movie, he's drawn by me, which, okay, great.
That's involvement, I guess, the same way Kubo was involved in the last Bleach movie. Although I suppose we should take this as a good thing that Kishimoto's not been involved in the writing process, because whenever Kubo got involved in the writing process of the final movie, it turned out into bullshit. I'm seeing a connection.
Yeah, I think actually, to be honest, I've noticed a lot recently with anime movies. One of the ways to get attention is to involve the original mangaka. And at the same time, say what you will about One Piece, the only guy I've ever seen actually get involved in the writing was Oda in one of the One Piece movies. I could be wrong on that, but...
Well, if it's true, at least he cares.
Yeah.
But again, in this case, I think we should take it as a blessing Kishimoto's not been involved, because the man, like his counterpart Kubo, does not know how to story.
Yeah. Admittedly, like we said, the whole idea was Toby, not Madara, Obito, whatever the feck he is. The idea that this parallel universe is a genjutsu is kind of a weak excuse plot, but at the same time, the reason why it's kind of interesting me and Sven is not just Sasuke, but the fact that pretty much every single supporting character also gets this as well. Like, apparently Kakashi's more heated, although we've not seen that much of him. You know, in contrast to our usual self, is now shy chivalry, wears conservative clothing, and, well, some people have called her emo, but I don't...
Frankly, I'm not seeing that. I mean, the shrinking violet archetype has never really been the emo archetype in any way, shape, or form. But long story short, she and Hinata switch personalities.
Yeah, because Hinata's gone the whole other extreme. In the actual poster, she's basically wearing a skimpy outfit, has a snide grin on her face, and is kind of doing that anime thing where she's punching an open palm as if to say, come on, let's rumble.
Come at me, bro.
And in fact, there is one brief shot in the trailer which is what looks like her fighting Naruto, so I don't know whether that's a playful, or if it turns out that she's taken Sasuke's place, Lord help us all.
At least from what I can tell, there is no sign of moody anti-heroes that are horribly written.
That is true. And there's also one thing, like the more Shadow Naruto fans have been complaining about is that Tsunade now wears his glasses and is flat-chested.
Yeah. Apparently, people don't like it when they mess with their fan service.
Yeah, although I would say guys just look right because they've just been transferred to her assistant Suzune. And also there are some other changes, like Shikamaru is now... I'm not sure how you would describe him.
From the poster I saw, I can only describe it as this. Shikamaru has gone from being Stark from Bleach to being Loki from Thor.
Okay, that's good. If you understand those references, you'll get what we're talking about. Anyway.
Yeah, basically, from what I could tell, he's turned into someone who takes absolutely nothing seriously, and I'm going to presume he's become the prankster. Basically, he's become Naruto from Part 1.
Pretty much, yeah. And also, the other big thing, at least from Naruto's point of view, is that his parents are alive.
It's so horrible to say this, but hey, it may be an alternate reality, but at least Naruto gets to have some parental comfort in some form.
Yeah, that part's gonna be interesting, and I'll be honest, this is kind of the reason why me and Sven are excited to see this film, because, well, with all these radical changes to the entire cast of Naruto in this alternate universe, it would just be incredibly interesting to see, like, other interpretations of all these characters we've known for several years.
Yeah, the ones we've known from start to finish, and in some cases, actually liked.
Yeah, and it's also nice to see a focus get back on them, because the whole subcast of Naruto that was introduced during the Chunin exams was one of the strongest points, and it's part of the reason me and Sven grew to love the show. But then, after a time skip, they became criminally underused, and it continued during the big war arc that's going on now.
Yeah, so, long story short, Naruto took all the lessons from Bleach it shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, at least Naruto's an interesting protagonist, but there are other people in your story, bro.
Yeah, that's the thing, but at the very least this movie, it looks like we'll get to see more of a focus on them, and it's also, again, nice to see these alternate versions of them. And from what I saw in the trailer, there also looks to be some badass fights in the Akatsuki. In fact, it also looks like, I forget which one had the scythe or his name. I think that raving religious extremist, whatever his name.
Oh, Hidan.
Hidan, that was it, yeah. There's like a pretty badass shot with what looks like 10-10 fighting to hit him in this badass fight, and then Guy and Rock Lee jumping in, which looks kind of cool.
Holy sh**, 10-10 doing something against Dawn? That's insane!
Who knows how that's gonna turn out. Oh, and there's also one other mention, which is the big first, which is kind of odd since it's in an alternate reality, but we actually get to see what the hell Sakura's parents look like.
Whoa, damn son. We get deep here. Why is that such a big thing anyway? It shouldn't be, but it's so monumental.
Well, the thing is, pretty much everyone we've seen the parents of, except for Sakura's parents, when you think about it. We've seen the parents of almost every single sub-character in the village, apart from Sakura. That's why it's a...
Yeah, which is odd, because she's part of the main three.
Yeah, I mean, Sasuke's parents get more screen time than her parents do, and they died, so they only appear in flashbacks.
God, dead people have more screen time than Sakura's parents.
I think they've only ever appeared, like, in the anime once, off screen, and that was one line by the mother that wasn't even in the original manga.
Oh, well, it's like they had to eventually hint at something, so they hint at the fact that Sakura actually, has parents, so they just threw it in as a throwaway.
But yeah, everything else about the movie is being kept tight, but it's released in Japan sometime in July, and knowing the nature of the internet, a sub version won't be too far behind, so yeah, hopefully we'll be able to report back on it once we've seen the whole thing.
Yes. And I look forward to that. It's actually one of those anime movies I'm actually anticipating, because most of the shonen ones are crap. And
there's one last movie to talk about. There's been very recently a lot of activity concerning one of my favourite mangas of all time. It's written by Nobuhiro Watsuki, no surprise as I've already mentioned I'm a big fan of him, and it's also his most famous series, Rurouni Kenshin.
Figured.